Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a very special Throwback Thursday review on the McFarlane Toys Kiss Creatures box set. Now this box set features all 4 members of Kiss, as well as a stage that actually lights up, and Eric Carr's full drum kit. So first up, let's go ahead and take a look at the stage, the drum kit, and Eric Carr before we take a look at any of the other members of Kiss. So taking a look at the drums, these are detailed so nicely. The sculpt of them looks really good. The only complaint that I have is I think only a few of the cymbals actually pegged into the stage. You can see the little pegs right there. The rest you just had to balance on there. I did actually glue a few of them down to keep them from moving, and I think that looks really awesome. It's just so well detailed. You even get the gong there in the back. There's a look at it from the back. Man, like I said, it is just incredibly detailed. The paint detail on it, even the seat where Eric Carr sits, it's textured really nicely and looks like it's actually been sat in. That looks pretty realistic. One thing that's really cool about this set is it has a wire that runs up to lighting on the top there, and it can actually light up. There is a button here on the side. You just press it, and then it'll start lighting up. So there the lights on the stage are flashing. And man, that looks really cool. You get red, orange, and like a greenish yellow color flashing. And that looks really awesome. I love that the lights actually work on this set. It stays on for a short time, but it still looks great nonetheless. So taking a look at Eric Carr, I think McFarlane Toys did a phenomenal job at sculpting and painting this head sculpt. I think it really looks like him. The makeup there looks really nice. All of the fine little black lines there, like the black lines that run underneath the silver right here, as well as the lipstick, that's painted on really well. And the sculpt of the hair is also really nice. It has like a grayish variation over top of it, and it brings the sculpt of his hair out very nicely. That looks really awesome. You get this faux fur collar here to the cape, and that looks really awesome. I love that they included that. It looks like it has some variation in it too. It looks like a lighter brown mixed with that darker collar. And that looks really good. On the promo pictures, he actually had like a fur loincloth if I remember right. But I haven't seen any version that actually has that in person. You get his studded collar on there. And all of the dots are painted in silver, and that looks really nice. You even get variation over top of his skin. You get some variation here on his abs, as well as variation over top of the sculpted chest hair there. You also get this really nice dry brushing of, it looks like a bluish color over top of his whole outfit, and that just makes the details really pop, like the wrinkles right here on the thighs, as well as the detailing on the boots right there. That looks really good. Can you remove these? No, I don't think you can remove them. He has his drumsticks, but they're permanently attached in his hands right there. They're a really, really tiny accessory, so I'm definitely afraid I'm going to break them if I move his hands the wrong way. You get some textures to the cape. I really wish it wasn't this glossy, rubbery type material, but it does have some really nice dark red variation on the wrinkles right here. I don't believe he actually wore this on this tour. This is actually from even though it's called the Creatures box set, this is from the Unmasked tour. And I don't think he wore a cape on that. I know on the Unmasked tour Auckland, I think the cover of that he has a cape on, but the outfit is different. So it seems that this is kind of an amalgamation of his looks, if I remember right. You get the Fox logo there on his belt painted really nicely, and surprisingly, he has some really good articulation. He's the best articulated figure out of this bunch. His articulation scheme is kind of similar to the I-10 Spawn figure. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a hinged neck that can look up just a little bit, down just a little bit, side to side. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. They can move up and down just a little bit. He has wrist swivels that move all the way around. He has a waist swivel that can move side to side. He has hips that can actually do a complete split. Moving these joints does scare me though, because these joints that McFarlane, and even, did NECA use these? I can't remember. But the joints that McFarlane used like this are prone to breakage. So if you have this set, definitely be careful of that. He can kick forward that far. He does have swiveled thigh that can move side to side. and single jointed knees that can bend back that far. Oh, and boots that move side to side, I forgot to mention that. So yeah, he is articulated really nicely. You're mainly just going to have him pose back here, but man, I'm really glad that McFarlane Toys gave us such an articulated figure in this set. So there Eric is at his drum set, and man, he looks really cool. I prefer to leave him standing up. I think that way you can see him better, but he has enough articulation that you can get him sitting down in a realistic pose and playing the drums as well. I think that's probably why he has so much articulation. That way you can have him standing up or looking like he's realistically playing the drums sitting down. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Gene Simmons. So Gene comes with his iconic axe bass right here. And the one thing that I absolutely love about this is it has real strings. It almost feels like it's just twine, but that looks so cool and realistic. You know, this is so much better than sculpted on strings. You can actually make it look like he's playing them, and that is so awesome. The detailing on this set is crazy. Even the back of the bass is sculpted really nicely. You get the studs there on the strap. Man, that looks incredible. McFarlane Toys did a really good job on his instrument. So taking a look at Gene's head sculpt, I think it looks good for the most part, but something is just off about it. I think maybe it's in the way his eyes are painted. I wish his eyes would have been open a little more. I don't know, but the sculpt of it looks really good, and even the makeup looks nice. And this is actually the variant set. Some sets included Gene with a clean face, and some included the blood running down his chin. The blood paint looks really good there, and I'm glad that the one I have has the blood paint. I think that looks really good. The hair is sculpted really nicely, but it's done in two separate parts. You get the head and the top piece of his hair, and then the lower piece of his hair. The top piece doesn't have any paint variation on it, but the bottom piece has that bluish color like Eric Carr had. So it does have some really good sculpt and paint to it, but only here at the bottom. You can see where the paint starts right here. His whole outfit is exquisitely detailed. The way the cape is draped and the way it's laying looks realistic. The wrinkles are sculpted really nicely. You get some really awesome texturing. I absolutely love that texturing, as well as this airbrushed darker collar. And that brings the details out really nicely. You can see some more of that airbrushed darker color right there. And they even did it on the inside too. So I really love that. Even the inside is super detailed. Gene's armor is painted really well. I think it's just cast in black and has silver paint over top of it, but it brings the detailing out really nicely. All the sculpted details and the textures, that looks great. And even his suit itself has some texturing. You get that bluish color on there. And let's move the base. You can see the detailing on his suit. The wrinkles, the textures, that dry brushing. This set is so detailed it's not funny. And the boots are incredibly detailed. You get textures, that really nice silver paint over top of it, and then even the claws down here are painted really nicely. You can see where the platforms start. No sort of sculpt detail on the bottoms of his boots. They are completely flat, which helps him to stand. And he does have peg holes. He's meant to go over here and peg into the stage. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a head that's on a swivel, but it really doesn't want to move. He has shoulders that are on, I believe they're on hinge joints. Yeah, I think they're hinges that can move out that far. He has swiveled the bicep that can move side to side very slightly. The cape is glued down here on his forearm, so you don't want to move that around too much. He has wrist swivels that can move all the way around. He actually has a diaphragm joint. It can move up and down very slightly. It can move side to side really nicely. He has hip articulation, which I really don't think he needed, because that's really the only thing you can do, or maybe have him sitting down like that. And then you have swivel boots that move side to side. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Paul Stanley. So Paul Stanley actually comes with two accessories. The first being his microphone, and he can't really hold it that well. I mean, once you have him standing on the stage, it stays pretty well. But I think this looks pretty good. I love that it can actually move up and down right here, and you can actually take the mic out. This just feels like a piece of wire right here for the cord, I think it's really awesome that you can actually do that it actually functions like a real mic would. I think that's really cool. And finally, he comes with his cracked mirror guitar. And just like with Gene's bass, you get the real strings right here. And that looks really good. The cracked pattern on that looks really nice. Man, that looks really good. And it's even detailed on the underneath right here. Let's go ahead and take that off. You can see how detailed it is. Like, they even detailed the screws right here. So yeah, all of the instruments on this set are just so well done. They look really nice. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his head sculpt. So taking a look at the Star Child's likeness, again, McFarlane Toys did a really incredible job on this. I think it looks just like him. Paul Stanley has a very unique facial shape, and I think they really nailed that. I think that looks really good. His makeup looks nice, the eyeliner around his left eye came out really clean, and the sculpt of the hair, the way it's laying and the curls in it, as well as the gray variation over top of that, that looks really awesome. McFarlane Toys nailed all of the head sculpts on this, as well as the outfits. I will say the fur lining on this, while it's sculpted really nicely and has some nice variation over top of it, I would have preferred them to use real fur, like the fox has. I think that would have been really cool to actually use, or faux fur I should say, it's not real. I think they should have used some faux fur for this, because his articulation is pretty hindered because of this huge fur piece right here on his jacket. I love the texturing you get to his jacket. That looks really good, as well as the silver paint on that. This kind of reminds me of what Shredder wore in the 1990 Turtles movie. The colors are very similar. But man, all of the textures on this and the little silver dots that are painted on, that looks really good. He's the trickiest to stand because of the way he's posed and his huge platform boots. But anyways, you get some really cool textures on the pants right here, as well as the stars down the legs. I feel like the stars actually could have been painted a little bit better. On the left side, they're painted on decently, but on the right side, I can see a lot of black showing through on these. That's really a small gripe because the rest of the figure looks really good. Even the shirt that's sticking out underneath this gets a little bit of a dry brushing of that bluish color. I think you get a little bit of silver dry brushing to his pants. It's really hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure that's silver right here. And then the wrinkles on the boots are sculpted really well, as well as those huge platforms. So for his articulation, as I said, this fur limits the articulation of his head. Does he have a hinge? Yeah, it looks like it's on a hinge that just moves up and down very slightly, and side to side very slightly. He actually has hinged shoulders. This one moves a little more than the left. The left is really hindered, but the right can move down very slightly. It can move all the way around. He has swivel wrists that are pretty hindered. He has a waist swivel. Hips that, again, I don't really think he needed articulation, because the only thing that he can do is that, and that looks really funny. So let's put his legs back into position here. And then he has boot swivels that can move all the way around. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the final member, Space Ace. So for Space Ace's only accessory, he comes with his guitar here. You get the real strings right there, which I love so much. This looks so much better than just sculpted on strings. It actually looks realistic, and I love that. And just the way his hands are sculpted makes it look like he's really playing. Man, that looks really good. McFarlane Toys did a really awesome job on all of these instruments. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at his head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, just like with all of the other members from this box set, it looks just like Ace Frehley. Man, the details on that look really good. The solid paint surprisingly still holds up today. I think all of the likenesses, the paint detail, and even the sculpt still holds up today. And this set is 20 years old. It's really hard to believe that this is a 20-year-old set, and honestly, this kind of looks better than a lot of figures that are put out today. I especially love the sculpt of the hair and the material that it's made out of. I kind of miss when toy companies would use this for hair. You know, it really allows for more range of motion because of how pliable it is. Too many companies nowadays use a really stiff material, and it just hinders all the articulation. But it's sculpted really nicely and has some nice variation over top of it, bringing the details out really well. And it's sculpted so well, like the way it drapes over the cape right here. That looks really awesome. And so does the cape itself. You get the blue piece right here, I guess you'd call it a collar. And the cape itself has some incredible texturing. I believe it's actually cast in a black material, and this silver is painted over top of it. And man, that looks really cool. The way that it's sculpted here at the bottom, like it's draped on the stage, that looks pretty realistic. The sculpted details on this are crazy. I think Ace's outfit stands out the most from this box set, mainly because of the bright silver coloring on it, but the bright blue details as well. Here on the cuff, you can see that it has that blue and little silver dots on it, little silver studs. And man, all of those are painted very well. I'm still amazed at like the little tiny details and how well they're painted on. His whole suit has texturing on it, and that looks really good. Even the patterns of the studs on the strap right here are sculpted really nicely. Sculpted and painted really well. They wouldn't have honestly had to have painted it up here because it's under his cape. It is assembled in a way, I think that the cape is glued over top of this, so it's meant to stay in place. So they didn't even have to paint that, but they did. So yeah, that's painted really well. I feel like he's the trickiest to stand because his hips are kind of loose. I don't know if you've noticed, but while I've been going over the details, his hips kind of keep going together. And that's because his hips are loose. They came like that straight out of the packaging, which luckily you can peg him in here pretty nicely. But yeah, his hips do still want to shift when he's on stage. And his incredibly big platform silver boots look really good. I think they might be cast in black as well. It looks like you can see a little bit of the base color showing through right here on the wrinkles. But you get some texturing right here, and even the platforms themselves. I don't know if the camera's picking up, but you get some slight texturing on them too. So yeah, he's detailed really, really nicely. So for his articulation, he has a hinged neck that can look up all the way. He can look down just a little bit. He can move his head side to side very nicely. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. He has swivel here at the bicep that can spin all the way around. Wrist swivels that can spin all the way around. He has, looks like a waist swivel. It almost looks like he has a joint up here at the diaphragm. But he does have a waist swivel. He has those hips that can move out. As I said, they've gotten a little loose. And then he has boot swivels that can move all the way around. So there all of the members are assembled there on the stage. And man, they look incredible. McFarlane Toys did a phenomenal job on this box set. I really don't have any negative things to say about it. I think the likenesses are great, the sculpt detail's out of this world, and so is the paint variation. Just the care and attention to detail that McFarlane Toys put into this set is crazy. All the members look like who they're supposed to. It's just crazy. McFarlane Toys did a very awesome job on this. I did forget to mention that McFarlane Toys actually did make single versions of all of these figures. Of course, you didn't get the stage or the big drum kit or anything like that. So if this is something that you'd want, I definitely recommend getting the box set. I honestly think this is essential for any Kiss fan. McFarlane Toys just did an amazing job on this. It's kind of pricey nowadays, but if you can find one for a good price, definitely pick it up because it is worth every penny. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.